Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I'm joined again by Todd tonight. Got an interesting show lined up. We've often heard about the Illuminati and it being a Jewish conspiracy or some sort of conspiracy or whatnot. And we're going to go into the actual evidence tonight to see if there's been another bait and switch. We're actually running on the backup channel again this week because the super chats and monetization on the primary channel, of course, has been shut down. So we're over here, and we appreciate any donations and support we can get from everybody. Much appreciated. So thanks in advance for supporting the show. Todd has been on how many times before? 3, 4 times?
I think this is my fourth time. Yeah.
Fourth time? All right. So, well, I know we have a lot of material to cover, so we should probably dive right in. And welcome, everybody. People are still coming in, but anyway, we'll let it trickle upward as the show gets going here, and then we'll have to upload it to the primary channel. So, anyway, Todd, welcome, and let's dig in.
Yeah. So tonight, the Islamic Illuminati. So it was only a matter of time till we put those two words together, right? So it may seem like a very bold claim that I've just made, but I would like to explain a little bit of the rationale why I have come to conclude that the occult and the Illuminati are Islamic in nature at this point. And what it's based on is the idea, the reason why Islam can incorporate the ancient mystery schools so easily into its occult practices is because they believe that we are all born Muslims. Our soul makes the admission that there's no God but Allah. And as soon as our soul makes that admission, it gets given a body, and down we go into the earth plane, right? So Muslims and Islam teach that we're all Muslims. We just don't know it yet. So this is how we can say that Islam is the continuation of the real Illuminati. It's the first full circle back to Babylon. The mystery schools began, and like Hans Utter likes to say, he doesn't want to say it's Islamic because he says it's Chaldean and it's Babylonian, it's Sumerian, right? It's older. It's older than Islam. Well, he's right. But the point is that as a Christian, we look at those people and say they didn't have the truth. Whereas Islam says they did have the truth, they just didn't have the full truth, but Allah gave them special knowledge about his divine ordering of affairs through, the zodiac and the seasons and the whole typical pagan fertility, occult ritual type stuff. So, in essence, Islam has baptized the ancient mystery schools into itself. Now, again, that would be a very startling claim to make, but I actually have come across plenty of evidence to show this. So, I mean, with the Baron von Sabotendorf, we showed how Islam and the Nazis were together. Well, Hitler, he was calling some of his top people a new order of Templars, right? So Hitler's into the Templars, and the Templars are connected back to Islam again, right? So
Yeah, and of course, for those who don't know, the Waffen SS's largest division was the 13th Hanjar Division out of Bosnia, etc., run by the Grand Mufti of Palestine, which of course was fully Islamic, and people don't realize that. And then, as you just mentioned, the Sabotendorf episode that we did about 5 weeks ago, we showed how the Thule Society and Baron von Sabotendorf were essentially Islamic, and uh, used the Nazi Party to gain headway into Europe, essentially, or to take, as an attempt to take over Europe.
Right. Yes. And really, Islam's been trying to take Europe over for a long time now, and
For
it's still
about
doing.
1,600 years, or no, about 1,200 years or so.
Yeah, yeah. It's a long, long time.
For sure.
Anyway, so this is a full circle back to Babylon. This is Islam has embraced Pythagoras, Plato, embraced the mystery schools of Babylon and the Persians and the Sumerians and the Chaldeans, because it's in the Mesopotamian area and under the Persian Empire where all of this stuff mixed together. And what we find is that as Islam went on its conquering spree, it was basically a bunch of like warlike, dirty goat herders, and then they took over Persia, and Persia was rich with art and all this stuff, and a big conflagrations of cultures and learning and occult schools. And so when they took over the Persian Empire, they rebuilt Babylon, called it Baghdad, and it was in Baghdad during the Third Caliphate that's considered the golden age of Islam, which is in the 800s around about. And this is where we find the very first mention of a Kabbalist, which lived 50 miles south of Baghdad, and he was Joseph ben Abba of Baghdad. So what we need to understand here is that Muhammad was already practicing weird occult things in caves, and so his followers that he passed it on to found a lot of things to learn from in their golden age of Islam. Anyway, so it's in this 800 time where then the Sunnis, they bust up the more occult minded Shias, and then everyone goes underground. Okay, so in the 800s, at the last of the 800s, this is where everyone kind of runs underground and starts spreading. It becomes an occult, for lack of a better term. The mystery schools are no longer allowed out in the open, right? Because in Babylon and Egypt, the mystery schools were open. You were like, I'm a high priest of Osiris, and you didn't have to hide that fact, right? So this is when the occult became the occult, and spread out as a secret revolutionary idea. And it has infiltrated the Jews, it has infiltrated the Catholics, it has infiltrated the Protestants, it has infiltrated the Hindus, it has infiltrated the Buddhists, it has infiltrated the communists. It's spread its tentacles through everywhere. Okay, so I didn't want to believe any of this.
But you're only allowed to talk about Judaism in its regard.
Right. I was caught up in the whole. Is it fake Catholics or is it fake Jews who are really in control? Well, guess why they're fake Catholics and fake Jews and fake Protestants? Well, because they're Islamic Catholics, Islamic Jews, Islamic Protestants.
It's like we had discussed in the Sabbatean episode, which was, I think, your second time on. And, and the Sabbateans are crypto-Islamists, and they create the blame that they create a lot of the blame that all Jews get, and people don't identify what is a Jew. They just say the Jews in as broad stroke fallacy as they can possibly use.
Right. Well, it makes it real simple for simple minds, like this race bad, kill.
Right. Yeah. You got to use as little thinking as possible,
Right. And just pump the anger, pump the indignation, pump them full of victimhood, and give them the most simplest answer to solve all their problems. And these retards fall for it because they want a simple answer.
Right, and then they, they have their online heroes in the troll community. We're already seeing some of these, lesser intelligent fools pop up tonight. So
Oh, well,
it's
welcome, welcome.
Yeah, welcome, welcome. It's interesting to see how afraid they are of any factual information getting out. But they have the agenda, and they're obviously part of the occult as well. Likely, if they are, concerned in spreading so many lies, which I guess you could call Takia for that matter, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Pretty much. So, like I was saying, I didn't want to believe any of this. I was caught up in the whole dichotomy of fake Catholics, fake Jews, who's really in charge. And like we talked about before, I had a 2-month long argument with Lloyd about it, where he just kept calling me a Muslim, and I got upset about it. But you know what? Like men, we dusted ourselves off, shook hands, and learned from one another. So that's the object here. We can have a friendly discourse, a friendly fight. Okay, a friendly fight. No one needs to get hurt. We'll just have a discussion of ideas, and whoever's idea wins. Okay. So anyway, so I was fighting with Lloyd, and I was like, ha, Lloyd, I know where the Church of the Illuminati is, so I'm going to show you it's not Islam. So let's go to go to the Church of the Illuminati.
So I'm showing the Church of the Illuminati here, built in 1911. Go ahead.
Right. So it's built in 1911, and in front of the altar is encased a stained glass window, originally from one of the Templar churches in France. This 13th century light of the East is said to have come from one of the churches that Jacques de Molay, Grand Master of the Knights Templar, worshipped. A Templar initiate saved the stained glass window from destruction, and it eventually found its way to America. So, first off the bat, we have association with Templars. Okay, so and this is the Rosicrucians. Okay, the Rosy Cross Order. There it is, and they associate themselves with the Knights Templar. Now, the reason why they built this chapel, we're going to see here. The chapel has always been considered the heart of, or the Mecca for, the great work. Okay? The Rosy Cross Order, with its sacred Templar window, calls itself the Mecca for the great work. Now, when I saw that...
And it's always been considered that.
Right. Always. So this is where I said to myself, full stop. Wait a second. Wait 1 second here. Islam, the Church of the Illuminati is claiming to be a Mecca. Whoa. So I put a full stop on everything, and I decided to research for, dang it. Sorry about that. So I decided to go back through my research and start asking myself, well, where does Islam show up? Where does it show up? Where am I finding this in the Freemasonic orders? Where am I finding this in pop culture? What am I really looking after here? Because if the Church of the Illuminati is considering itself a Mecca, then we need to go back. So then I went and asked myself, well, where's the Templar headquarters? Well, the Templar headquarters for about 500 years was the church, Castle Tomar. And they said they built it according to the design of the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem. So they consider the Dome of the Rock to be the Temple of Solomon. Well, Islam also has a history of Solomon in their writings, and they say that Solomon, it was a magical man who had magical powers and a magical ring, and he could fly or go to the bottom of the ocean because he was such a powerful magi of Allah, and that he was the last true king of Israel. So that's what Islam teaches about Solomon. So when, and that's just the opposite of what the Bible has to say. So now that I found this Beverly Hall, the Church of the Illuminati, okay, well now, their first convocation was held in 1916 or 1917, and they published a book to explain why they were building this chapel and this Mecca for the great work, and to let us know some things about.
Never mind those who use the term "the Great Work" and its own ties to Islam.
Right. Well, the great work is spread out through the entire cult. It's the great work is their utopia where they're free from the Muggles and they all live in their Gnostic paradise where everyone is in submission to Islam.
Correct. And then after everyone's either murdered or submits to Islam, then the world will be at peace.
Yeah, then we'll have our utopia. All right, so what we're going to read was published by the Philosophical Publishing Company, Allentown, Pennsylvania. The name of the book is just TRY. It's on the cover. It's just capital TRY.
Just a second. Justin says the great work is hermetic.
Right. So remember Baron von Sabotendorf? He called the grip, the master grip, the grip of Hermes. See how Islam baptizes the old mystery schools into itself? So yeah, but that's alchemy in essence. Hermes is about alchemy, and so that's what this really is all about. It's the Philosopher's Stone and alchemy, and that's the great work. The great part of the other part of it, the inner great work is coming to realize yourself as the Philosopher's Stone through submission to Allah. Okay, and that's what I'm trying to say is they've taken all the Greeks and the Romans and the Persians and the Babylonians. They've baptized it into Islam. They've accepted it. Because remember, they said everyone started out a Muslim. So if these other guys, they were born in the wrong time. Prophet Muhammad just hadn't come yet. It wasn't their fault. They were just doing the best they could. And they uncovered these great truths from Allah. They just didn't have the full thing yet. All right. In explanation of the contents of this book, it is to be stated that these articles do not give the inner work of the Rose Cross Order, but simply the outer, the public teachings. All right, so this is telling us that to get to the final secret, don't think that by reading this book you're going to get the final secret. And it also is telling you that what the wordage, the way they're going to explain things is going to be code. So, the Illuminati and its soul science work may be called the child of the Rose Cross Order. All right, it's not the child of the Jew order, okay? It's the child of the Rose Cross Order. And what did Baron von Sabotendorf tell us about the Rose Cross Order? He told us the Rose Cross Order was a child of Sufi Islam. See how that works there? Years ago, it was found that where there was one person who desired to follow the work with heart and soul, there were another 100 others who, here. Where there was one person who desired to follow the work with heart and soul, in other words, who was willing to live the life as taught by the order, there were 100 others who desired teachings from the order, but who were not willing to dedicate their lives to the sublime work. These thousands had to be taken care of And as a result, the Illuminati and its soul science was born. Now, this is a tricky statement. Did you catch it there? So, where there was one person who was willing to go all the way to the end of the initiation, there were hundreds of others who were not. And in order to take care of those thousands of people who were not able to embrace the final realization of the Illuminati, that's why the Illuminati was created. It was to give them a mumbo jumbo order through which the true initiates could manipulate them. So where there was one person who desired to follow the work with heart and soul, there were 100 others who were not willing to dedicate their lives to the sublime work. These thousands had to be taken care of. So everyone who doesn't want to follow into the I submit to Allah, they're like, oh, wow, Jesus is just an ascended master, and Lucifer's really a cool angel, and he's just here to be a light bringer, and wow, neat. What I'm going to do is ascend to be a god. Yes, that's what the great work is. I will be a god man. But really, deep down inside, the true initiates all know that it's submission to Islam that is the final and sublime work. The work of the Rose Cross Order as given to its students can never be published. It is a secret, sacred work between teacher and student. Okay, it's never published. It's only spoken by word of mouth. So all these people who are coming out here and they're like, the secret Talmud, it's only spoken by word of mouth, blah, 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 blah. Well, no, the Talmud was never secret, spoken to by word of mouth. It was a bunch of occult mumbo jumbo on how to scramble up letters to get a Gnostic experience that they told by word of mouth. But the Talmud's not spoken by word of mouth only. It's never a secret. So now we're going to, can you hear that dog barking?
Just barely. I wouldn't worry about it.
All right. Well, she's old and in the hot, so hold on. I didn't even know she's outside. Sorry, everyone. All right. So that's just the introduction that they gave us to this book to help you understand. All right. If you're a smart person, you're going to see, hey, wait a second. This isn't the full story I'm getting out of this book, but it's going to give me clues, and I'm going to be excited to be a part of the process. So, Ancient Mysteries of Egypt, giving an initiation of 3 degrees. Under the authority of the Rose Cross Order, founded in America in 1858, prominent delegates of the order were gathered in the most remarkable conclave held during the last 5,000 years. The publication of whose records now opens to the world the connection of Egypt in her ages of true religion, power, and glory with the mystic seal of the United States, whose heraldic symbolism declared the mighty destiny of America and has until now only been known by a limited number. So when we got the Federal Reserve, right, we got the new seal on the dollar. And so that's what they're talking about here, guys. So the Novus Ordo Seclorum, the New World Order, here it is. And now they're going to celebrate and they're going to tell us what it means. Sort of. So high Masons and members of the Eastern Star, physicians, teachers, authors, and members of all denominations, inclusive of the Hebrew, all these assembled at the call of the Grand Master of the Rose Cross Order for the 68th convocation. So, see what they did there? They're publishing the fact that it's Freemasons, and they're women, because the Eastern Star is the women's version of Freemasonry, and members of all denominations. And then who comes in last is like, oh yeah, and the Hebrews are here too, right? So yeah, and the Hebrews are here too. But they name the Freemasons and associate them with Jews. See how that goes there? Just keep in your head that you don't really know who's behind. You think it's this is mainly Jewish.
Todd, look over there.
Oh, what? Jew.
Oh my God, confirmation bias. Oh my God, hey, all the GDL shills paid by Tom Steyer at all. Hey, that's what they say. So as long as it fits my confirmation bias, that's the furthest I got to think. You don't have to
Yeah.
do any more research as long as it fits your confirmation bias and you're a stupid tool. Hey, man, go with it. As long as you're out there putting out videos naming the Jew and this kind of dumb stuff, and it's like, and we haven't even gotten into yet their support of Dugan and all of that stuff. It's like it's all in
You know
there.
what? Maybe some of them support Dugan, but after listening to Sway talk to Patrick Little about Dugan, like I don't think they get it. I don't think they get it.
You think they're too low on the tool ladder to
They're
actually?
they're participating in Dugan's plan, but that's why they're interested. They're like, hey, this kind of sounds like what we're doing, but Dugan said he's a Bolshevik Jew. What's going on here? I don't get it.
Right. They don't get how they're tools of the whole.
Well, but that's the thing is that Dugan admits in his book that the reason why he calls himself a Bolshevik Jew is because this is the age of Satan. And so he's embracing the age of Satan, and the Jew is the race for Satan. So he's like, well, yeah, I want to help the end times and help Islam, and you can't make Islam true unless the Jew is a nasty, horrible, wicked person that needs to be wiped off the face of the planet.
So that you can bring
he's
in
participating in making up the Jewish people look bad.
Right, and then that way they can promote that way they can attack the Old Testament and promote Sharia.
Right. And the Orthodox Russian Orthodox Church, which I am nearly certain is just rife with Arian apostasy, Nestorian apostasy, Manichaeanism. It's probably all in there, and all of those things are like, because the Manichaeans, they're considered people of the book. They're mentioned in the Quran, and the Manichaeanism means wisdom, secret wisdom. The word means secret wisdom, and what they say is that John the Baptist, he was the real guy we should have been listening to.
Right, exactly.
Fake Jesus, who was the most wicked man to ever live. So anyway, so back to this convocation of the Rosy Cross Order, okay? And so everyone was there. So that means Islam was there, but they didn't tell us that. They just told us Hebrews and Freemasons. All right. The delegates and teachers presented the lectures, which were followed by discussions upon the subjects of eugenics, scientific motherhood, code of ethics for schools and home, spiritual Christianity, personal hygiene, diet and health, sin, authority and individuality, Jacob's ladder, initiation, reincarnation, soul development, the second coming of Christ, and the mystic significance of the seal of the United States. In the time of Solomon, well, here, let me stop there for a second. So, okay, 1916, eugenics, scientific motherhood, like, okay. So everyone's been telling you about the Illuminati and their eugenics programs and this and that, and even on their website, did you show them how it told them don't get immunizations on the Church of Illuminati page?
I didn't show them that.
It says right there on the Church of Illuminati, like, don't get your immunizations because they're nasty. All right, and so the second coming of Christ. Now this is kind of a Christian thing, but also if you read the book, the Bible, it says, "Lo, I will be with you always." So really, Jesus never really left in Christian ideations, right? It's just he's gonna reveal himself for the second time. Now, in Islam, they believe that Jesus came the first time, messed it up, but it was a part of Allah's purpose so that, the whole story could play out, and that he would take him to heaven and then send him back again. But this time, he's going to take all the Christians and lead them back to Muhammad, because he's going to kneel to Muhammad and say, you are the true prophet of God. And then he will have accomplished his mission as everyone submits to Allah. So that's the second coming of Christ from an Islamic perspective. So in the time of Solomon, as in the time of the Egyptian priesthood, no ceremony was ever held unless the circle of Solomon, commonly called the sacred seal of Solomon, had been previously prepared. But since the fall of Egypt and the Temple of Solomon, this seal has been practically unknown except to a limited number of students of ancient religions and mysteries. So there they go again. So they're always going to talk about the occult in terms of Jewish ways. They're going to use Jewish terminology because that keeps up the pretense. It keeps up the idea that they're not actually Islamic.
Let's really quickly, Dashing Rogue asks what language you read Dugan in. He's interested.
What language I read
Yeah.
Dugan.
I mean, you don't read Russian, so you obviously read it in English, correct?
Right. So a lot of what I know comes from a certain Romanian journalist. I can't remember his name right now, but Lloyd got the opportunity to meet him yesterday, and he actually knows how to read the Russian. So I'm hoping to get together with him on a call sometime and talk about that a little bit more. Most of what I know comes from the YouTube videos by this Romanian guy. So, and I've listened to a ton of Dugan interviews and whatnot. So,
yeah, study everything, and then you'll see how the GDL agenda, how they're tools for this whole agenda. They don't even see what they're doing. They're so caught up in their laundry list of unverified talking points that they just, thoughtlessly regurgitate, naming the Jew and all this dumb stuff. That's, they don't even get that they are tools of this whole agenda. And the agenda is to undermine America and turn people against their own nation and against their own law system and to attack Christianity. And then, the ultimate goal, it would be then to bring in Sharia law and Chrislam. And most people don't understand that the law of the West is based on the Old Testament. And if you read the Old Testament and the New Testament for that matter, you can begin to grasp these things. These people are so caught up in the Talmud is, the most evil book in the world that they don't think, well, hey, how do I know that? Well, because some other tool told me that. Maybe I should verify it myself, which is what we did. We started going through and verifying all these quotes. One quote out of about 70 that I verified was true, and all of the others were 1/3 were totally made up, and about 2/3 were taken drastically out of context. And then when you get that, when you start chipping away at the foundations of the GDL, neo-Nazi, KKK, Islamic lies, you begin to see the entire underlying agenda there. And, you chip away one, and then it's like, okay, well, let's look at the next agenda, the USS Liberty, or, it's like Lloyd pointed out recently, and I don't mean to steal your fire, Lloyd, but, he pointed out, well, if the Fed is so bad and a Jewish conspiracy, how come we're the wealthiest country with the highest standard of living? Why don't these people who think the Fed is so evil go live in, I don't know, pick a nation, Venezuela? How about, Syria or Iran or something like that? How come they don't, if the Islamic countries that they all worship are so wonderful, why aren't they going to live there? But they don't even process through the thinking. They have talking points, and that's as far as these tools can think. You got the whole list of them, and it's just about spreading hate. And you were caught up in it. I was caught up in it. And we started thinking through it and changing the way we were looking at things, and it was like, oh my goodness, I mean, a lot of these people don't even know they're tools, but it's clear that at the top, some of them do know that they're full-on tools.
Yeah, I doubt the sincerity of Handsome Truth 100%. I think he's simply trying to weaponize stupid white people and make us look bad.
Well, yeah, and then the point of that would be to get more synagogue shootings happening, which will be twofold. It's going to get the conservative right Christians blamed for their liberal BS, and then get the Second Amendment shut down. And that's really, in my opinion, the ultimate goal of the GDL. And then, once they get the Second Amendment shut down, then their Islamic overlords can really take over, because then we can't even protect ourselves. I mean, when you look at the whole agenda that the GDL promotes, it's stupid stacked high. It's just stupid after stupid after stupid after stupid. You have to be completely thoughtless to go around and follow Jesse Spots or HT or Albert Bashai, any of these guys.
Yeah, like I said, it's an answer to the world's problems for really dumb people who are angry and lost their tribe and they don't know what else to do, so they're just being loud. It's as bad as any Antifa person just going Nazi, 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 and then these people are like Jew, 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 and it's dumb. It's dumb. The whole thing's dumb. So anyway, so Solomon, the cult loves to trot out Solomon because it makes the whole thing look Jewish. Well, guess what the Bible has to say about Solomon? I'm just going to read 12 verses here, what the Bible says about Solomon, so that we can see what God thinks about Solomon. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughters of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. For it came to pass, when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of David his father. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not fully after the Lord, as did David his father. Then did Solomon build a high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods. And the Lord was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned from the Lord God of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice, and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods. But he kept not that which the Lord commanded. Wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and I will give it to thy servant. Notwithstanding in thy days, I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of your hand, out of the hand of your son. So there you go. God judged Solomon for doing exactly what these occultists praise him for doing. Okay? So there it is. These occultists and Islamists say that Solomon is the last true king of Israel. Well, guess what? He was the last true king of Israel. That's true. You know why? Because he was wicked and burnt babies to Molech for his pagan wives. Okay? And they're praising him, and they use his name over every occult work. They just smatter him everywhere. Because this is where the real power of the occult infiltrated the Jews, and they've been suffering from a mind sickness that Solomon brought to them ever since. Now, that this is the mystic people, the ones that are, trying to embrace, the multiculturalism of paganism. All right.
So just to interject here really quick, Dashing Rogue says, was his name Freedom Alternative Research and Analysis Lucian? Because one of the claims is Dugan says one thing in Russian and another thing in other languages. And
no, I have totally heard that, and this is why I want to speak to that journalist from Romania because he knows Russian. He's read it in both, and he's the one who mentioned this fact as well. So I would be keen on finding out what differences he's found between the Russian and the English.
And Daniel says Zoroastrianism is connected to Freemasonry, and Sufis are Neo-Zoroastrians. Well, in Sufi Islam, we showed is the direct branch that Freemasonry comes out of. In fact, Robert Graves, in the introduction to the book The Sufis, says straight up that Freemasonry is a direct descendant of Sufi Islam.
Well, okay, so the royals of the Persian Empire, at the time they were conquered by Islam, were Zoroastrians. And in fact, one of the...
Isn't that where the virgins and all come from? Isn't that out of Zoroastrianism? Or am I?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So the Persian Empire had this spot in the mountains. I think it's near the Black Sea, but this is where the Persian Empire ran away to, and Islam could not dig them out of the mountains. So there was this last sliver of Zoroastrianism where the royal family had hidden itself in these mountains, and one of the sons decided that in order to save his royal line, he would convert to Islam, and he did. So they were big into the occult and mystic schools, that family, and I'm sure that upon his acceptance into the Ummah, he probably had a lot of things to teach the Islamic people. And so what I'm trying to say is that yes, Islam is born out of, it's a continuation of everything. Oh, dang it. It's a continuation. It calls itself a reform movement of Judaism and Christianity. It's what it considers itself. But in the same breath, it calls everyone who's ever been born a Muslim. So if they like anything what they have to say, they just said, oh, well, he was blessed by Allah and he just didn't know how to be a proper Muslim yet because Muhammad wasn't there yet.
Right.
So this is why I'm saying it's a full circle. So we went from Babylon, the original occult mystery schools of Egypt, et cetera, et cetera. Now it's gone back full circle. And now the Prophet Muhammad is the one who went into the shrine. He took out all the gods, tossed them all out, right? And so made it all one. So now you have the idea of like, I am now one with the universe, right? So that's ultimately what these people are trying to achieve by becoming the Philosopher's Stone, is by becoming one with the universe. And they will untap all their psychic and occult powers, and then they'll be able to affect the world of sense things in the way they want to because they're ascended men.
Right. And it's more along the lines of primacy of consciousness rather than reality is real, such as Christianity. Everything is based on logos, and God is truth, like Titus 1:2, God cannot lie, Jesus is the way, the truth, the life. And they invert everything and then make it about the world is a reflection of them rather than them being a part of the world. Is that accurate to you?
Yes. Yeah. Because it's the Gnostic idea where there's your magical realm where you get to be the god of your imagination, but only after you've properly submitted yourself to God, then will you be allowed this power of imagination. All right.
And then you can go around and say, do what thou wilt, which is kill everybody and do all kinds of wicked stuff.
Right, because this realm is meant for that. That's what it was built for. That's part of it. It's the order and the chaos, the light and the darkness. It's the duality. It's the realm of duality, and it's what you have to transcend. And but don't worry about tasting from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. You could do good, you could do evil. Just do it in submission to Allah, and you're good.
Which is, of course, will, not logos. And, of course, and what they don't want people to realize, which took us a while to figure out, and I've exposed it now for, years on the show is the psychedelics are the fruit of the tree. It's not for your spiritual shamanic enlightenment. It is, basically I mean, that's what created the fall. So they're trying to recreate the fall.
Oh, yeah. They're trying to invert the fall because that's what they do. They invert it. All right. So this is not really on topic, but considering how interesting it is with this whole Mexico thing. So, if the student will give serious study to the article on the seal of the United States, he will find on the reverse side of the seal, which is as yet uncut, there is to be found the pyramid, but with the capstone as yet not placed. And thus he will see that the philosophy of the Illuminati is the absolute and undeniable philosophy upon which these United States are founded. Well, that's a lie, but it does have something to do with it. As is clearly indicated by our fourfold philosophy, by the drawings representing our philosophy, and by the drawings on the reverse side of the United States seal. And thus it would appear that the unseen hierarchies which shaped the foundation of the great republic, which must someday rule the world, are the same hierarchies which gave us the soul science philosophy as taught by the Illuminati. So see the unseen hierarchies. That's what the Illuminati is controlled by. It's by an unseen hierarchy.
You mean it's not the ones that they parade around in everyone's faces as the scapegoat?
No.
Oh, because that would be the simplest, too easy answer, but like people like to chase the scapegoat. Like my interview with Albert Stubblebine, Men Who Stare at Scapegoats,
So anyway, so what the Rosy Cross Order is about to tell us is that the reason why there's no capstone on the top is this is why. And what is this capstone? My reader, prepare for a shock. When Atlantis ruled the world, that which is now America was connected with Egypt by what is now Mexico. And in Mexico, in the territory of the Yucatan, there is a pyramid in which the fire philosophers worshipped God as the divine fire and life, in like manner as did the initiates of Egypt, for the two were then one. Okay? So, America is not complete and will not be complete, cannot be complete until Mexico is again part of America as she was in the long ago. And when Mexico is once again part of the United States, then will the capstone have been set on the pyramid and the reverse side of the United States seal will be cut.
So we gotta bring back Emperor Montezuma and his
right?
his slaughter of 8,000 slaves per day.
Ah, that sounds like he sounds.
I'm sorry. Wait, white people brought slavery. We're told to believe.
All right, yeah, all right. So now this next quote is very important. Okay, because this is what. Just listen. The whole Bible is written in the stars, both the law and the gospel. While historically, the entire story of man is set forth upon the Sea of Manasseh. The obverse side, so the obverse side of the seal is Israel in the Old Testament. The reverse is the offspring of all Israel under the new covenant as the hope and outcome of Christianity. The two sides reflect each other and cannot be separated, being the Bible in its most condensed form, summing up all old world history in 12-tribed Israel. So what they're making the admission of is that Judaism and Christianity are what they consider to be the entire history of the old world. Okay, now what are they after? They're after a new world.
You mean order. Right, and that's the old world order.
So the old world order, according to them, is Christianity and Judaism.
Correct.
Okay,
and we've talked about that on the show a couple of years ago. How and so then what do they want as the new world order? Chrislam or Islam?
Right. So, all right. So they're going to give us a little quote from Merlin here. Apparently, it's about America. When the cock, France, shall woo the dove, America, mother and child shall cease to love, which is the rebellion of the colonies. When the cock, France, shall guard the eagle's nest, France's aid, the stars, our constellation of 13, shall rise all in the west. Then 7 and 6 shall make but one, e pluribus unum. The lion's might shall be undone. Okay, so the Messiah has a title, and one of his titles is called the Lion of the Tribe of Judah. So they are trying to undo the lion's might, the Lion of the Tribe of Judah. They're trying to undo the Christian and Judaic alliance. The Christians are nowhere without Jews. Okay, if you don't understand your Old Testament, you don't understand your New Testament. So you have to read
Jesus fulfills the.
He fulfills it. Yes,
right,
exactly.
and then begins the new covenant. So
right.
that's the whole point of it all. And and what people don't realize is that all of these people that claim to be Christian and spread all of this hate stuff, they don't realize that Jesus and the 12 apostles were Jewish. So it's like, we have to hate all Jews. And it's like, well, the Jews are the cause of all evil in the world. Really?
Yeah, it's not even close to true. All right, going on further about our seal of the United States. The stars upon our seal are set in the form of a 6-pointed star or double triangle. This was anciently called Solomon's seal.
Did you want? Is there an image you want me to show?
No, I mean you can show. Come on, who doesn't know what this?
Look on it. Pull out a dollar and look at the back of it.
Yeah, come on. This was anciently called Solomon's seal and was embroidered upon the curtain of the temple, which hung before the Holy of Holies. At each point of the star was placed the symbol of an order which set forth arcane wisdom, and no man might pass into the Holy of Holies save he had mastered the learning of the orders with safety to himself because of the presence upon the altar within. Today in America, we have the restoration of this knowledge in these 6 orders. Order of the Illuminati, Order of Rose Cross, Ancient Order of Alchemists, Fraternity of Osiris, the Magi, and 8th Priesthood. All right. Now, guess what? The Seal of Solomon, the Star of Solomon, Star of David. Okay, well, the Bible has something to say about this too. But ye have borne the tabernacle of your Molech, and Chiun, your images, the star of your God, which ye made to yourselves. And again in Acts, then God turned and gave them up to worship the host of heaven, as is written in the book of the prophets, O ye house of Israel, ye have offered to me slain beasts and sacrifices by the space of 40 years in the wilderness. Yea, ye took up the tabernacle of Moloch and the star of your God Remphan, figures which ye made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon. All right, so God has plenty to say about this seal of Solomon, okay? It's the seal of Remphan, okay? It's not the seal of Solomon. It's a pagan star, okay? Pagan.
Amy nailed it in the chat.
There you go. Good job, Amy. So we're almost done with this part of the book, and then we're gonna read some from the Shriner book. Yeah. All right. So the all-seeing eye. We're still talking about the seal. The all-seeing eye looks down upon the ancient pyramids, which too symbolizes America and all she must mean to the world. Out of a glory, sign of the descent of New Jerusalem. This emblem, the eye, is as old as man's appearance on earth, being found upon ancient Chaldean monuments. So, Hans is right. It's Chaldean. Egyptian and Greek, while the Arabians, looking upon it, named the highest and holiest name of God with hushed voices and whispered, I am that I am. So there it goes. It it says that the Arabians get it. Okay, yes, here. So now, this is really funny. So maybe people don't know, maybe you do know, but Nimrod in Masonic legend is supposedly the first Freemason. Okay, now Nimrod is the guy who had that big metal statue built, right? And in Daniel, it talks about this statue and how it will be destroyed by the rock that comes down from heaven. Okay, so now we're going to be. As the head, body, and limbs of the great image made of different metals represented each messianic age, a new truth, and an empire directly relating to some manifestation of that truth, so must America represent the white stone, a nation fashioning itself until it shall have obtained the messiahship over all nations, overshadowing all that preceded it. This cannot be accomplished until each citizen shall throw aside the veil which lieth over his face, shall no longer see through the glass darkly, but face to face, when Judah shall no longer vex Israel, nor Israel envy Judah, but prepare to come together into that land which the Lord has given them an inheritance forever. All right, so this is a little bit convoluted, but the thing is that in your Bible, when Daniel's talking about the multi-metalled statue, he's talking about Mystery Babylon the Great. He's not talking about each new thing is a new country who is a Messiah. So you see, look how they couch that. So in the occult, countries, whole entire countries and races are playing a part in this great drama, so to speak. And they think that the Chaldeans, the Babylonians, the Sumerians, the Romans, the Greeks, each one that participated in that metal thing was a different Messiah country at the time of his existence.
So Justin made a point that I was going to bring up earlier. He says it's funny how idiots are often referred to as Nimrods.
Well, yeah. I'm going to build a tower to the sky. I'm like, okay, good luck with that. I mean, what do all the city builders love to do? Build a building as high into the sky as they can, thinking that it's going to do anything.
Well, they'll be closer to will or Allah, I guess.
All right. So now this is the last part, and then this is the last part of this book. The time has come, spoken of by Isaiah the prophet, when though the learned cannot read the book because it is sealed, nor the unlearned because he is unlettered, yet shall the book be unsealed, for the ancient wisdom applies to the individual and his following of the Christ in his quest of the Holy Grail, in the drinking of the cup of unselfishness of his love for his neighbor, and the stranger within the gates of our own Ellis Island, that the stranger may grow to the light of this republic, or carry its torch to other lands. Okay, so the stranger within the gates of our own Ellis Island. And what stranger is carrying a torch near Ellis Island? Well,
wait. Okay, I'm gonna show this one. Wait for it. Ha!
Well, would you look at that? A Statue of Liberty was originally intended to be a Muslim woman. How fascinating. I wonder why that is.
And for those of you who are wondering this source, it's called Smithsonian.com, Smithsonian Institute.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bunch of hacks over there, right?
Right, your low-level academics and stuff at the Smithsonian. So, those of you who want to check those of you who are capable of fact-checking sources. So the new Colossus was actually born in Egypt. So I'll just scroll through that on screen for those of you who want to pause it and look through that. So there you go.
Yeah, yeah. It's originally what is it? Is it the Suez Canal that's over there by Turkey and Egypt? No, that's the one in what's the canal over there?
I don't know. Now you're questioning my knowledge of geography and history. So
All right. Well, we better not do that. So, so does that put a whole new light on like maybe which book is in her arms, and what exact light is that torch carrying?
well,
Does it?
now you're making people think. You need yeah. So Mr. Winters says it's the Suez. So but be careful making people think too deeply here because
So
the GDL has an agenda to sell, and it's like as dumbed down as it possibly can be.
hey, and I didn't. I just all this just fell out of me seeing that this chapel of the Illuminati is the Mecca for the great work, and I was just like, what? And I've just been stumbling over this crap left and right. Like, wait, I was like, I read that, and I was like, Statue of Liberty, Islam. I'm like, first thing it was, I'm like, what the heck? What the heck is going on here? And
Yeah.
then,
So
I found this.
Justin says Egypt refused her, i.e., the Statue of Liberty. America took her.
Well, I gave her to her for free. But who's to say that whole thing wasn't even planned? I mean, maybe the whole thing was planned. It's like it's a way of occulting. Do you see? It's a way of occulting the real symbolism of it, because they're like, oh, people think it's Lucifer, oh, it's Diana, oh, it's bleh. But no one ever knew that really it's Muslim. It's a Muslim. What the heck? All right, so now after I found all that stuff, I was like, well, all right, we got the Knights Templar and the Rosy Cross Order, and they're associated with Islam, and the Freemasons were there. So let's go look at the Freemasons a little bit closer and see what we can find there. And so I went Freemasonry and Islam, and I found this book. And I've read this. I read from this. What was it? I think it was the second show, a little bit, but this book is called Mecca Temple, Ancient Arabic Order of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine, Its History and Pleasures, together with the origin and history of the order. So, let's see. The Order of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine was instituted by the Mohammedan Caliph Ali. Okay, so Caliph Ali is, is the cousin German and son-in-law of the Prophet Muhammad. Okay.
So just really quickly, somebody's asking, so why isn't she wearing a hijab? And read the article on the Smithsonian website. And I would say it's probably too obvious, too in your face. What would you add to that?
Right, 100%, and you got to understand that.
If she was wearing a hijab, they couldn't sell it as the Statue of Liberty, right? It would be like, the statue of suppression and slavery.
Exactly. So why isn't it wearing hijab? Now, not all Islamic sects require their women to wear hijabs. Okay, that's not required everywhere. So, and in fact, there's kind of a movement within Islam to get rid of the hijab anyway. So.
Let's see. Right. I don't know if Zero Infinity is correct here. Hijab is what women who used to wear clothing as prostitutes. I don't know. Anyway, go ahead.
So, the order is yet one of the most highly favored among the many secret societies which abound in Oriental countries, and gathers around its shrines a select few of the best educated and cultured classes. Their ostensible object is to increase the faith and fidelity of all true believers in Allah, whose name be exalted. The secret and real purpose can only be made known to those who have encircled the mystic shrine, according to the instructions in the Book of the Constitution and the regulations of the Imperial Council. So again, the constitutions of the Freemasons and all this, they're absolute secrets, can't find it. So I don't I don't know how you encircle the mystic shrine, but I'm fairly certain it means going to Mecca. The nobles of the mystic shrine
Encircle the black rock, the black stone, the oh, good grief. Yeah, you're probably right.
The nobles of the mystic shrine are sometimes mistaken for orders of the dervishes, such as those known as the Hanafiya, Rufafiya, Satiriya, and others, either howling, whirling,
Saturnalia.
Sadariye,
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know, whirling, dancing, or barking. But this is an error. What?
Oh, the barking. Go ahead.
Oh, yes. The only connection the order ever had with any sect of dervishes was with that called the Bektash. So, who was associated with the Bektashi? There, Baron von Bottendorf was. Hooray! This warlike sect undertook to favor and protect the nobles in a time of great peril, and have ever since been counted among its most honored patrons. The most famous Arab, known as Bektash, from a peculiar high white hat or cap which he made from a sleeve of his gown, the founder of the sect named in his honor, was an imam in the army of the Sultan Amurath I, the first Mohammedan who led an army into Europe in AD 1360. All right. So notice this. Notice. The order of the Bektashi is the Sufi order that has infiltrated into Europe. It's now in America since 1880, 1890 was officially set up. We'll find out here. And this particular cult is named after the first imam who invaded Europe.
But wait. The liberals believe that Europe invaded the Middle East, not the 500 invasions.
They're wrong.
Not the 500 invasions of the Middle East and Islam into Europe before the Crusades.
Yes, right, exactly. The Crusades are a response to the invasion of Europe by the Muslims.
For centuries, many hundreds of times, and taking many millions of slaves.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
and
you
making
mean,
you all pay a
like
tax.
the Muslims weren't the poor victims of the Christian Crusades, like we're told today?
You wanted to stay alive, you better have been a rich Jew or a rich Christian, because then you could have paid your jizya. I love that word, your jizya.
Yeah.
Jizya. What the heck, man? What a bunch of strangos. Okie dokie.
Oh, well,
so notice, look, the Bektash, right. The guy who invaded Europe for the first time. Okay, now they're coming back for us, guys. They're coming back. They're after us, man.
But hey, wait. You got to stare at the scapegoat. You got to only pay attention to the Jews, because that is the only thing that's important to look at.
That's what they want you to look at.
Right.
That's why.
That's why it's promoted everywhere, and all of the GDL people, that's all they can say. They got my talking points, and that's as far as it goes. You got to follow the talking points in the laundry list of my talking points, and you never like when you call a customer service line and you get someone in Asia, and it's obvious that they're following a script and they don't actually know how to think beyond the script, and so they just go like, they have all of the talking points there, and it's like USS Liberty, Bolshevik Revolution, pornography, and the Fed, and they just go right down the list. They got my talking points, and they never ever stray from those. They might bring in different levels of shills or tools. Like you might get like the supervisor who has his own set of talking points. But that's like that's all that you get is like idiots with lists of talking points, and they can never back their talking points. They've never fact-checked any of it. They just regurgitate dumb stuff.
All right. So the Batash dervishes are numbered by many hundred thousands, and they have several branches or offshoots, which are named after the founder of each. Among the most noted are those which have their headquarters in Cairo, in Egypt, Damascus, and Jerusalem in Palestine. Okay? Wait, what? There are occult Muslims inside Jerusalem? You gotta be kidding me.
You mean like Sabbateans and whatnot?
Oh, geez. No, they're actually Bektashi. They don't even. Well, but the Sabbateans. Well, that's where Shabtai Tzvi went. He went to the Bektashi order. So imagine that. There's a Bektashi lodge in Jerusalem, guys. No way.
Dude, you're going way too deep. You know, you're going to have to slow down for, you know, some of the people in the audience that got their talking points.
Oh, man, there's one in Tehran, too. And Shiraz. Oh, man, there's 3 in Israel? Whoa. And actually, it's in India, Morocco, Algeria, all over the place. And now they're in America. And guess what? There are Bektashi. The Shriners are Bektashis, okay? And the Bektashis are intent in taking over Europe and all the European people and everything that we built.
It's like that image that Lloyd found of the Shriners taking over the California Capitol building, you know, of the Caliphate in California.
Yeah.
Or is that too obvious? You know, because they name it California and then pretend like.
Well, the Jesuits were all over the place here in California.
The Caliphate in California.
All right. So all Mohammedans respect everyone who has made a pilgrimage to Mecca and who will repeat the formula of the creed. There is no deity but Allah, without reference to what his private belief may be, for they have a maxim: the interior belongs to God alone. So going back again, see, this is about how you in the outer world, in the world of sense things, you are to submit to Allah. And by submitting to Allah in the world of sense things, then your interior realm is opened up to you, and you become a mystic magician in your realm of imagination. And then you can affect the real world with your imagination. Among the modern promoters of the principles of the order in Europe, one of the most noted was Herr Adam Weishaupt, a Rosicrucian. Oh my God, you gotta be joking me. Wait, what up? The modern promoters of the principles of the Bektashi order in Europe is Herr Adam Weishaupt? I could have swore to God that he was a Jew. What's going on here? Really? He's a Bektashi?
But wait, but the Illuminati is one of my talking points.
Well, but yeah, because Jacob Frank was there with the Rothschilds and Herr Adam Weishaupt, and they're all Jews, right? Wait, no, oops. He's a Rosicrucian. Oh, what do we find out? Rosicrucians, child of the Sufis. Illuminati, child of the Rosy Cross Order. See how the chain goes? Now, I just can't believe it.
But wait a second. If you only go by people's last names for the sum total of all your thinking, then you just can say, you know, anybody's Jewish. Wouldn't that be?
Yeah. But it's dumb. It's just dumb. You got to pay attention to what these people believe. What is their philosophy? Not what is their race. What is their race?
Or their last name.
There is an argument to be made that maybe the Jews from Europe aren't really the original Jews. Like,
what if they're Gomerites? Oh my God, Gomerites!
But I don't really care. What I care about are people's ideas. Okay? Now, there's this group of people who identified themselves as Jews who then converted to Frankism, and Frank called himself the second coming of Shabtai Tzvi, and Shabtai Tzvi converted to Bektashi Sufi Islam. See how this all connects together, people? please.
But come on, come on.
Please.
What about the low-hanging fruit for the simpletons? Can't we have our low-hanging fruit?
No, not unless you want to be a sucker. Yeah, if you want to get taken for a ride, if you want to be an idiot, if you want to go along to get along, if you're just a chucklehead who likes to put a yarmulke on and little fake curls and go, "I'm a Jew," like what? When your life flashes before your eyes when you die, dude, and then you look and you see yourself doing that, you're gonna be so ashamed, man. You're gonna cry. You're gonna be real sad about your choices in life. I'm sorry. That's the plain simple facts.
But hey, you know, all the problems in the world, aren't they caused by people with curly cues on the side of their heads?
No.
Oh man! So you mean the audience is going to have to rethink stuff? All right, I won't be snarky anymore. I'm just being sarcastic. Obviously,
I can't take it anymore with that crap. It's just like after this show, I'm sorry. Your Illuminati conspiracy about it being Jews is busted. It's busted. It is in the trash. Find a new theory. Get on board with us. Open up your mind. We have to
Start
fight against this.
thinking.
Hell, I
yeah.
found another president, Gerald Ford. He was a Shriner. Okay, so we've got Harding, we've got Roosevelt, we've got Ford, we got Barack Obama. Okay, guys,
Oh.
we've got 4 Muslim Islamicists who have been president of the United States of America, and no one even knew.
See, look at this GDL tool genitals. I think it's about time your followers know that you're a shill and controlled by Freemasons. I mean, this person is so dumb they didn't even hear the show. I mean, you got to address that level of stupid, because that's a level of stupid that you know most people can't even get down to. You know, so good job, Jenna Talls, whatever your fake account is. I'm proud of you that or I pity you that you can get that dumb, because that's really, really dumb. I mean, learn to read, maybe listen, use your head,
just
fact
listen
check.
to me read, for crying out loud.
We give them the information to check, but they're too stupid to figure it out. I mean, these are the GDL shills. Like, talk about bottom feeders. Like, holy wow,
Come on, guys! I gave you the title of the books.
I mean, these are people that pride themselves in stupidity. That's like, good grief, man. Good grief.
Yeah, look, come on. I'm not up here to make myself feel smart. I'm really, honestly, I got my hand out to even all you GDL. Like, you need to get with the program. You need to wake up. You need to stop putting yourself into such a small paradigm. Okay.
But they got my talking points. USS Liberty and Illuminati, and if I just repeat this, it will become true, because, that's all I can say and think. And Jan Irvin sold out. He's a shill because, like the GDL told me.
Right. We sold out to YouTube, and that's why
his channel's
demonetized.
Right, because, duh. Oh my God. They're so stupid, it makes your head hurt,
Among the modern promoters of the principles of the Bektashi order in Europe, one of the most noted was Herr Adam Weishaupt, a Rosicrucian and professor of law in the University of Ingolstadt in Bavaria, who revived the order in that city on May 1st, 1776. Its members exercised a profound influence before and during the French Revolution, when they were known as the Illuminati, and they professed to be teachers of philosophy, to ray forth from their secret society the light of science over all mankind without fear or favor, to diffuse the purest principles of virtue. In short, restating the teachings of Aristotle, Pythagoras, Plato, Confucius, and other philosophers. See how they gather all the ancient mystery school guys up together and they baptize it in Islam, in the Sufi order? See how they take all the ancient stuff and they incorporate it into their Sufi Freemasonic Islamic paradigm.
The Dashing Rogue has a question in regards to the Statue of Liberty. Is it similar to the Colossus of Rhodes? If so, how can we tell if that is true and not revisionist history?
I am going to have to admit ignorance on that topic, Dashing Rogue. I'm sorry. I'll look it up though. What was it again? The Colossus?
Colossus of Rhodes, yes.
Colossus of Rhodes. Wait, is that on the island that leads into the Mediterranean? Is that what that is?
I don't know.
No, does Dashing Road know?
You're questioning my geography again.
No, I'm questioning Dashing Rogue.
I don't know. He'll have to post up something
All right.
in the chat there.
Okay, so among the members of the Illuminati, there are recorded the names of Friedrich the Great, Mirabeau, a Duke of Orleans, many members of royal families, literary, scientific, and professional men, including the illustrious Goethe, Spinoza, Kant, Lord Bacon, and a long list besides, whose works enlarge and free the mind from the influence of dogma and prejudice. Okay, so notice these Islamic Freemasons are saying that the Illuminati is Islamic Freemasonry, and it's cool with all the old cats from all the mystery schools from before them. Okay, so again, full circle. The Islamic Illuminati. It's nothing else at this point. All the schools are converted. They've all converted. Okay, because it's a universalism, and all you have to do is make the admission there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet, and then you submit to that, and then your interior world is free to you. You can do whatever you want. You want to be a pedophile? That's okay. No problem.
So Chip is asking, the Knights Templar are Islam too. They became
Yes.
the Knights Templar went into Jerusalem and did all of their stuff and came out and they were spreading Islam, and then they spread it through Freemasonry, blah 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 blah. You know, on down the
right. So this is my working theory. My working theory is that the Knights Templar were originally good Catholics, and they originally had a proper motivation to go and, push back on Islam and, take some land in their territories so that they will have to be on the defense a little bit more instead of just rampaging across the world like they had been. Now, when you ever like, if you played on a sports team, right? Or if you play pool, or maybe you've got a card game that you like to play. Well, you got a nemesis, right? If you play cards with someone a lot, you got a guy who beats you all the time, or a pool, some guy who beats you all the time. And you may hate him because you're like, oh, this guy always beats me. But then eventually over time, you will, like, maybe you beat him, and then he gets mad, and then there's like this thing that happens between people who fight against each other, that they come to an understanding of one another and a mutual respect sometimes. So especially in the old days, if you're like battling everyone's all bloody and tired, and you're like, oh God, it stinks, and there's flies and there's dead people, and let's retrieve our wounded. And they let each other retrieve their wounded, right? They don't go ambush the parties retrieving the wounded. There's a respect there. So what I believe has happened is that when they took over the Dome of the Rock and they entered into the mystic shrines of these Sufi cults, they were bewitched by a new way of thinking that the Catholic priests never taught. And they had their imaginations run away with them. And they started learning during their 100 years or so occupying the Dome of the Rock, trying to understand the symbolism that Islam had created inside the Dome of the Rock. So I think that's how they were converted. They were converted to Islam because the Islamists said, "Look, we're not trying to tell you not to be a Christian. You know, the Christians are people of the book. It's just you gotta submit to Allah and say that Prophet Muhammad is the only true prophet." And the Templars did this because they liked the strange practices that, well, probably opens themselves up to demonic influence and demonic raptures, and they went with that because, like, wow, this is way cooler than just normal Catholicism where I just eat a piece of bread and drink some wine. So I think that's what happened in the Knights Templar. That's my working theory anyway. So, all right.
Good grief. Where the island of Rhodes is at the crossroads between Europe and the Middle East and Africa, probably where we get Rhode Island and blah, blah, blah. Oh, people caught up still on fake Talmud quotes, even though.
Oh my God! Shut up.
We even though we exposed all but one of those quotes as total fakes, you know, it's like, oh my God, I've never read it because I've never read it, and it's the most evil book in the world because somebody else told me to believe that, and I never even bothered to open it up and find out if that was true. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just send Jan an email.
Yeah, how many? I got a question for you. How many generations do you think it's going to take Jesse Spots and his crew to recover from facts and truth? You know, because he's saying that that it's going to take multiple generations now because they're on the losing side.
Oh yeah, desperately hoping and praying for. It's like a guy with no kids, as far as I can tell, is like telling us to teach our children about the Jew. Shut up, Jesse.
It's like, you know what? Go eat some more Twinkies, dude. Good grief.
God, these people. All right, so the mystic shrine is referred to by the Muslims generally as the order of the unwritten law, in distinction from the written law, which is the Quran. So, commemorating the prophecy. We thus commemorate the inspired prophecy announced at Mecca centuries ago with the transformation of one, the adoration or the keys of secret knowledge, the inevitable, the rending asunder of Al-Quran, and the final individualization of the soul and the recognition of Allah as the Most High, and although clad in steel, gold, and glory, humbly bow down in reverence and humility and proclaim that Allah is God, the merciful and compassionate. So they're warlords. They're going to be clad in steel, their armor, their weapons. They're going to be clad in wealth, and they're going to take it to us, man. And they're going to make everyone bow down before Allah. So.
Someone now we have another GDL tool trying to claim that they know my handler. They know someone who knows you and knows your handler. Yeah, because, I mean, that's so stupid. Yeah.
I'm his handler. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I do. I do, I swear, because I heard that from someone. Duh.
Oh, my God. Just, come on, guys. His channel's demonetized.
Name the handler. Yeah.
What?
Chip says name the handler. That's pretty funny. I mean, they're grasping at straws because they got nothing left. You know, it's like we've taken away all their talking points, and we're going to take away the rest of their talking points. They're too stupid to fact check any of their claims, so all they can do is yell shill and I know your handler and dumb stuff and do hit piece videos. I mean, they're out of ammo. They've got nothing left. They're totally impotent. They're on the losing side. They don't have the intellectual capacity to fact check or think.
No, and the narrative's just way too small. Like, it doesn't incorporate anything. It like now I know it may seem
you're like a shit. Wait. They got name calling and they got my list of talking points.
Right.
Yeah. And they've got empty troll accounts. See, they pretend like they are not the shills with their empty troll accounts. Like all of these dimwits have empty troll accounts. That's how sorry and weak they are. All they can do is use empty troll accounts to go around and spread lies. You know, that's frickin' weak. Whomever the coward is hiding behind that account there, you're a coward and a loser. Go get, real work.
All right. So, frequent revolutions in Arabia, Persia, and Turkey have obscured the order from time to time, as appears from the many breaks in the continuity of the records at Mecca. But it has often been revived. Some of the most notable revivals are those at Mecca and Aleppo in AD 1698 and at Cairo in AD 1837. The latter under the protection of the Khedive of Egypt, who recognized the order as a powerful means of civilization. All right, so in the year AD 804, during a warlike expedition against the Byzantine Emperor Nicephorus, the most famous Arabian caliph, Harun al-Rashid, deputed a renowned scholar, blah, 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 and found a college there for the propagation of religion of the Prophet Muhammad. The work and the college arose, and the order of the nobles was revived there as a part of the means of civilization. So, like I said, it's in 800. In 800, this is when the occult, as far as I can tell, the occult as a truly subculture of society begins in the 800s. Nearly 3 centuries after the death of the great caliph and patron of learning, the order of nobles was revived at Baghdad by Abd el-Qadir.
Wait. Let me interject here. Dashing Rogue just found something I want to read.
Sure.
You'll like this. It says from Wikipedia 653, in 653, an Arab force under Muslim Caliph Muawiyah I captured Rhodes, and according to the Chronicle of Theophanes, the Confessor, the statue was melted down and sold to a Jewish merchant of Edessa who loaded the bronze on 900 camels. The Arab destruction of the purported sale to a Jew possibly originated as a powerful metaphor for Nebuchadnezzar's dream of destruction of a great statue.
All right. That sounds interesting. I have to say I don't know anything about it.
Another possible lead anyway. Go on, sorry. That's a lot of camels, yes indeed.
All right. So
but that would be a lot of, camel urine that they could drink.
Yeah. So now that the order has to get revived after this 800, right? And it's revived by a Persian who is an eminent doctor of the Sufi sect in 1160. Okay, 1160. So among the traditions of the order occurs this very significant record. In no single instance has the government in any country ventured openly to oppose the silent, secret workings of the nobles, although the secret agents of the government are always present and exercise a careful surveillance in every mystic temple. The leading spirits of the order are found in every circle of the higher classes, even including the functionaries of government, and exert an influence in proportion to their position, dangerous to the vicious, beneficial to the virtuous. The Order of Nobles of the Mystic Shrine in America. No. Yes, now. The ritual now in use is a translation from the original Arabic found preserved in the archives of the order at Aleppo, Syria, whence it was brought in 1860 to London, England, by Rizk Allah Hassoun Effendi, who was the author of several important works in Arabic, one of which was a metrical version of the Book of Job. His History of Islam offended the Turkish government because of its humanitarian principles, and he was forced to leave his native country. Right. So this is the Sunni, right? The Sunnis are not actually that cool with these cats. and they don't like the whole Wahhabists either. The Sufis they don't get along with them. But so that's kind of like what they meant by like they have to revive themselves, because occasionally the Sunnis come in and they're like, heretics, and kill them all, and so they have to go underground and then they revive. Blah blah blah. Now, where do I want to get here? What I want to tell you about is basically how we got this. So the details of the introduction of the order into America are found in the published history. The late William J. Florence, the popular comedian, is conceitedly one of the first two founders of the order in America. So I find this really fascinating. Is a comedian? A comedian is the guy who brought this into America? Now, I find funny parallels there with Owen Benjamin, right? It's very, very funny that they would use a comedian to introduce this Islamic sort of idea of name the Jew. So what this comedian went on, he went on a tour. While he was in France.
Hold on, wait till your signal catches
invited.
up. We just lost you. There it goes. You lost your signal for a second. Go ahead.
All right. So this comedian was on a tour in Europe and in France in particular. And he was staying at a hotel. And he is a 33rd degree Freemason. Now, the head desk man at the hotel was also a Freemason. And after Florence had done one of his comedy shows, he was going back to his room to go to bed or whatever. And as he was, checking for anything that might have been left for him at the desk, the guy said to him, "Hey, I know you're a Freemason. I'm a Freemason, and there's a very interesting ritual going to take place at the Bokhara Lodge here in Marseille, France." Well, the Bokhara Lodge is a Bektashi Sufi lodge in France. And this guy had the occasion. So he's in Marseille. I just want to say this real quick, because this comedian, he had the occasion to call on Duncan Sherman and Co. bankers. And I was told by one of the gentlemanly clerks at the bankers, not his hotel, at the bank which he was visiting, told him of this. So, all those dirty Jew bankers, right? Well, guess what? Maybe they're all Jews. Come on, guys. What the heck?
Well, but that's an easier storyline because it doesn't require any thinking or fact checking. You can just make blanket statements and go, duh. Aaron Ritter says, I now consider Owen Benjamin and E. Michael Jones the two top Islamists of our time. I don't know if I would say the two top, but they're, up there. And we can't forget Michael Hoffman either. I mean, Michael Hoffman,
Yeah, I kind of see Owen Benjamin as trying to, his mission was to make himself cool with the conspiracy crowd in order to manipulate the conspiracy crowd to be focused on the Jew. He's, as far as I can tell, he's a lifetime actor. There's nothing sincere about Owen Benjamin at all.
Yeah.
And then, you know what? His wife's entire family is all Jesuit trained. So there. All right. Let's see here. That's about it. All there's really left is the history of how these guys came into being given proper authority by the official Bektashi Sufi order. Because the Shriners in America are literally Bektashi Sufis. Okay? And Shabtai Tzvi after he converted to Islam, was officially a Bakhtashi Sufi occultist. And Baron von Sabotendorf is a Bakhtashi Sufi occultist. And guess what? The Ismailis and the assassins, after they got trounced by the Huns or whatever the heck they're called, they came back and joined the Bakhtashi Sufi Muslims. Okay, guys, the whole thing, it all originates in Babylon, which is where Shia and Islam is really. It's all in Babylon. It's ancient Babylon. Islam is now Babylon reborn.
So,
Babylon
and let's just drive home this point really quickly. And we covered this in the shows with Lloyd, and maybe this will, because it's all about the occult. There's, Hassani's about all of this stuff. But once you get what, and I'm going to show this on screen here, once you get what the Oxford English Dictionary says right here, Baphomet, a form of the name Muhammad used by medieval writers. Alleged name of the idol the Templars were accused of worshiping. So they were worshiping Muhammad. They connect to the Bakhtashi. They connect to the Shriners. They connect to the Freemasons. It all ties together. And once you get that, Baphomet is Muhammad, that's, what the Satan worshipers, the occultists, all these different groups, that's what they worship. And then you can start to tie it all together and see the big picture.
Right, and the guy that associated Judaism with Baphomet is called Eliphas Levi, right? And any serious occultist says that guy's a joke. He's a joke to the serious occultists. Call Eliphas Levi a joke. Okay, you're getting joked. It's a joke, guys. You're falling for their joke. You have become their joke. You are the running joke, GDL.
Yeah,
you're a running joke. Literally.
Here we go.
You have reduced yourself to being memes only. You don't think critically at all. You are a prancing, hilarious meme that, unfortunately, for some reason, has enough satanic power behind it to influence really retarded people to do violence. Okay, so I'm telling you again, dude, you're gonna be real sad with yourself at the end of the road when you die and your life flashes before your eyes.
And you're like, I worked for the Jew. I worked for the GDL and I did a video naming the Jew because my name is HT or Jesse Spots, and it's like such. Wow, and these people call themselves Christians. I mean, if you read the Bible, does it actually say to spread hate, or is that what Islam teaches? It's like, duh. Anyway, wow. We can only pity and pray for them at this point.
Yeah, and everyone else who's been like, in the alt community of, not just always taking what our history books has to say on face value. I know it's a really rough and tumble kind of a scene that we're all a part of over these past years, and so thanks for sticking it out. I hope everyone's learned something from this. I hope, and I feel like this study that I've just done, at least for myself, I hope it helped you. But this is finishing the occult information on the Illuminati that we needed to know. And if you're a Christian, I mean, the biggest enemy that they call in the Bible is called Babylon the Great.
See, look, what these losers do is every time they get called out, they go create another fake account under another woman's name. Now it's Amy Rose. We've been talking about the Rosicrucians and whatnot. You're all a bunch of morons that like to blame everything on Islam. No, we're actually giving you weak-minded people citations that you can actually go and fact-check yourself, rather than saying Majus, and Islamophobia because, you got your talking points from the Islamists themselves.
I didn't blame anything. I didn't blame everything on Islam. I just got done telling you that all of these ancient mystery schools have been baptized into Islam. Islam has accepted them as a part of its culture and its thinking and its way of being.
Wait. She's got one of my talking points. She says, "Do you believe that Arabs run Hollywood?" You know, obviously, these are one of these clowns that think Hollywood is in totally under control of Jews. So hit that one really quick.
Why don't you take a little look at a place called Shriners Auditorium in Hollywood? And why don't you go look at the influence that Shriners Auditorium had on making Hollywood the prime place for creating entertainment?
And how easy to put, offer Jews essentially shekels to be the fall guy for this stuff. And then you get, half-wits like this person who's hiding behind this Amy Rose account, who don't think or do any research, and that's as far as they're going to go with it. And they got my talking points. They got their laundry list. We forgot to mention Hollywood earlier, so they found one that we didn't mention yet tonight. And then they blurt that out, and it's like, here's the thing, the simple-minded person behind Amy Rose is, you can always change the channel. It's like these people who blame their masturbatory habits on Jews,
The Jew made me do it, I swear.
The Jew made me masturbate, it's
Why
like...
is my hand so hairy? It's the Jew's fault.
See, it's run by Freemasons who place Jews in certain positions for very specific reasons. Well, then why do you blame them? And we already said that the Freemasons are Sufi Islamic and Bektashi, etc. So there goes your dumb argument. And Jonathan McIntosh, thank you for the $5 donation there. The three-headed ball frog king be in control of someone in high power.
Say what now?
The three-headed ball frog king be in control or is in control of someone in high power. The ball king.
I have no idea what. But the frog?
The frog king, yeah. The ball frog king.
I'm not. There's something else I'm ignorant of. That sounds wild.
So anyway,
send Jan a link to the info.
Yeah, email it to us and we'll deal with it. But great show tonight, Todd.
Yeah, and again, we're if you want the
see, look, they just keep going through. It's probably Jesse Spott's sitting there pushing Twinkies, creating chick account after chick account. And saying someone in the next few years will expose you and bring you down completely. So it's going to take them several years to find actual evidence of this dumb stuff that they have because they're too dumb to check citations, And how much you want to bet it's another empty troll account with, some fat dude in his underwear, hiding behind it. Here we go. Yeah. Look at that. It's another troll account, empty, blah, blah, blah. When did they create this one? Oh, look at that. Created February 2019, nothing in it. Look, these are the people, these are the cowards, folks, who run around and spread all of this GDL hate speech. And, everyone is a shill who questions their talking points. That's what they have, empty troll accounts that they blurred out dumb stuff behind ad infinitum. What we saw 4, empty chick accounts created tonight that some fat dude pushing Twinkies is sitting behind, pretending that he's got something intelligent to say using the Cartman triangle while he pretends he's the victim or whatever the heck. But, their narrative is crumbling, so this is what they have, in several years, in several generations even, maybe, they'll figure out that, that something or other that, citations that they could have fact-checked was their own stupidity. I mean, talk about Dunning-Kruger effect. But anyway, we'll end it there. Thanks for the, support and the laughs, everybody. It was fun tonight. Thank you, Dashing Rogue. Reverse image search Amy Rose's icon using Google. I'm not going to do that right now. I leave that to you. But, you know, I don't want to.
And come on, people, let's support the show. The main channel's demonetized. That hurts Jan a lot, you know. And, you know, if you want the show to keep going, send us some shekels.
Better be careful with the shekels because, you know.
I don't give a... I don't care anymore.
Dude, please, yes, the main channel is demonetized. That's why we're on the backup channel. Logosmedia.com. Send your donations, send Bitcoin donations. Check out the link to Patreon. You can go there and support us as well. We appreciate all your support. We need all your help. I'll post links to donate in the chat right now as well. If I can get that. I just hit it twice. There. And so anyway, thanks everybody for your love and support. We greatly appreciate it. Lloyd DeYoung, I think, will be back next week to shred some more, you know, stupid people butt and expose more stuff. So, you know, anyway, I feel sorry for these idiots for the GDL. But anyway, they're gonna go get their paychecks from Tom Steyer and these guys. So go collect your paychecks, and you know.
I don't know how Steyer must be a real penny pinching Jew, because those guys don't look like they're got the greatest digs. But you need to work harder. You gotta convert more people to the name in the Jew guys. Oh, it doesn't look like you're doing so good. I don't know if you're gonna get that bonus payment.
Yeah, you know, you got to put out some more name in the Jew videos, you know, because you guys and
your numbers are down, looking sad.
Yeah, and you gotta come up with a generational plan, because your plan now totally freaking sucks. So
that's right.
Good grief.
Doodaloo. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
When I come back,
I'm not GDL, but you're not right in the head anyway. Yeah. Watch, it's another fake account because we called out their fake chick accounts. Yep, look at that. Oh, shocker. Oh, and look, Ronald McDonald. So it's like, yeah. It's like, okay, losers, keep up the fake accounts, because that's all you got. Jokes up. You're all jokes. Chip says, Jesse spots chubby cheeks. Oh, man. Anyway, good night, everybody. Have fun, and you know, see you next week. It's been fun exposing your fool asses. Take care.
Jesse Slops.
Good night.
Later on, Jesse.
Good night.